Cliff, you hear about Alabama, and a lot of people talk about Ingram and Richardson, the running backs. What do you think about Greg McElroy, their quarterback?
Well, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. He dwell off his quarterback, their success, and then I guess he just react off of their success, 10, 20-yard game.
Do they run the ball on the short side of the field as much as anybody you've seen?
Well, what we've seen on tape, they run the ball pretty much anywhere, and I think that's their first threat, as far as trying to run the ball and then the pass.
Go ahead, Josh.
Cliff, can you give me your opinion, your assessment of your season 4 games in, and tell me how much the shoulder brace is affecting you?
Well, so far, I've played okay. The shoulder brace is limited to me a little bit, but it's the same shoulder brace as last year.
Cliff, you look at Alabama's winning streak in the SEC and the comparative score against Florida last week. Some people think Florida's a pretty good team. Are they that much better than the rest of the league?
Well, they're ranked number 1 in the country, so I feel like that means a lot. That saying a lot about them. I believe that they're the best team in the league, and one thing we got to do to beat them is to play well. Play almost a perfect game.
Cliff, have you gotten more? Last year you played opposite Eric and maybe didn't get as much offensive attention, but with him on the other side, have you gotten more attention from offenses this year with Eric gone?
Well, I believe so. I've been getting a lot of double team. Backers have been chipping me a lot.
Last year, if you dusted Mark Ingram's uniform for fingerprints, you probably wouldn't find it because he just rolled all over you guys. Do you remember that? How do you stop this guy? How do you contain him?
Well, I remember that clear as yesterday. One thing for us to do to stop him is to play physical and hard all night.
Alshon mentioned a team meeting about just talking about Alabama and the game coming up this week. Can you talk a little bit about sort of what was said at that meeting?
I'm sorry, say it again.
That Alshon mentioned a team meeting and that you guys had sort of talking about Alabama a little bit earlier in this week. Can you talk about what was said there?
I can talk a little bit about it. In the team meeting, we just got the guys together and just let them know that we can beat this team. The only thing stopping us from beating them is ourselves.
Cliff, what does it mean to you to have the nation's #1 team coming here in the Williams-Brice Stadium? You've got game day. Just talk about the challenge it presents and also just the overall atmosphere that you're expecting here on Saturday afternoon.
Well, this game means a lot to us. We're going to have a lot of confidence coming in this game. This is another opportunity for us to knock off the next team, especially them being #1 in the nation. So we just got to come ready to play.
Do you think there's an intimidation factor with Alabama? You think a lot of times they just show up and everybody gets scared?
No, sir. We don't put no team on the pedestal. We got to come ready to play, and we will be ready Saturday.
Cliff, talk about the physical nature of playing a team like Alabama and how much it helps you to come off a week off, to get rested, to get ready. Does that give you an advantage with them coming off a game against Florida the week before against another nationally ranked team? Do you feel like that could give you some kind of an edge that you're fresh and maybe beaten up just a little bit?
Well, we're a little fresher than they are, but we got to come ready to go to war. They're going to be ready to play. Them coming off a win, and them being on the road, that's going to give us a little advantage.
Cliff, you've been a part of some pretty dominant defensive teams the last couple of years. You guys have struggled a little bit this season. How frustrating is it for you to watch the defense as a whole struggle, and what do you guys need to do to get back on track?
Well, it really hasn't been, frustrating for me because I know a lot of the stuff that we're messing up on is very correctable. far as last week and yesterday, we've been working on that a lot.
What's been the impact of the absence of Shaq Wilson?
That's a good question. Shaq, he is missed because he is a more experienced linebacker, but some of the other other linebackers got to step up and take on his role.
Coach Johnson called Shaq basically the quarterback of the defense. Do you view him that way, like the quarterback of the defense?
Well, he's something similar to that. Shaq, he makes all the correct checks and calls to get us, lined up properly.
How was your bye week? I mean, did you guys just take it easy, kind of relax, kind of just get away from the game of football for a little while?
Well, during that week of practice, we really got after it. We went back to the basics a lot, worked on a lot of our fundamentals, and we pretty much took the weekend off, watched a bunch of football, just getting ready for Alabama this week.
Does the fact that I think this is the 4th straight year the defending national champions are here have come to Columbia, does that give you confidence that you played well against them the past 2 years?
Well, the last couple of years doesn't mean anything. This is a new season, new team, and like I said before, this is an opportunity for us to compete well.
Cliff, have you been disappointed by your numbers this year, or do you pay any attention to that? Do you feel like you're doing the things you need to do?
Well, I haven't played all great, but numbers don't mean anything to me anymore. I just want to win.
Talk specifically about approaching a team that has 2 running backs that are pretty comparable and extremely talented, knowing that maybe you bang one of them up and then they got another guy that's just at that same elite level with Ingram and Richardson. Those are probably 2 of the best tandem in the entire country facing those guys.
But one thing we got to do, to contain those backs is to play hard and fit proper gaps. We got to take better pursuit angles and play hard all night.
You guys take anything away from last year's game? I think it was a 13-6 game, maybe it was the 4th quarter, before they went on that final touchdown.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You take anything away from the game last year in Tuscaloosa? It was only a 13-6 game until midway through the 4th quarter before they went on that touchdown drive.
But one thing we got to do is finish. Play 4 quarters.
Cliff, you said you watched some football this weekend. Did you watch the Alabama-Florida game?
Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts as you watched that? Were you going, man, these guys just look awesome. How can anyone stop that? Or did you see some things that gave you some hope?
Well, Alabama, they played better than Florida did that day. I was watching it also in the film room that they were taking bad alignments on tackling and not in the right gap. So I think they beat themselves a little bit.
Cliff, do you think it's particularly important this week that your offense keep you guys off the field, son?
Well, it's important for us to play well in general.
How much of a difference is it in the SEC playing at home versus playing on the road?
Well, I think the crowd has a lot to do with it. 83,000, 84,000 fans behind us. That gets us, ready to play. And for us to play good, we got to play well.
Well, you see, when Alabama went to Arkansas, they struggled the first half, went down by 10 points at halftime. They came back in the second half. But if you compare that performance in Fayetteville versus what they did last Saturday in Tuscaloosa, does it make? Is it that much of a difference playing on the road versus playing at home in the SEC?
Well, playing on the road, the home team is going to have an advantage. But like I said, we got to play hard and play all day, possibly all night.
Cliff, describe what goes through your mind, the feelings you get as 2001 is getting amped up.
Well, I have a lot of adrenaline going through me. You know, I just get ready to play. I feel like, you know, I'm ready for anything.
Any other questions for Cliff? All right, thank you.